What are boundaries? How do you set them? What does that even mean? What if somebody goes against your boundary? What do you do? I don't know how to set boundaries. Can you help me? These are all questions that I have received through my DMs in Instagram so many times, and I promised my viewers that I would make a video on it. So in this video, we are going to be talking all things about boundaries. But first, let me introduce myself. For those that are new here, my name is Mel, and I am a medium and an energy healer. I am certified in Theta Healing, and I am a Reiki master. I do mediumship readings, tarot readings, and Reiki sessions. If you're interested in learning about all things spirituality, this is the channel to be on, so remember to subscribe. And now, let's get into it. So first, I want to define what I think a boundary is, what it is in my opinion. Now, everybody might have a different view of what a boundary is, how to set it, why they set it, why they have it. So I'm going to give you my opinion and what I have done and what has worked for me, as always on this channel. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So for me, a boundary is a way to protect yourself. To protect your soul, protect your physical body, protect your mind, and most importantly, to protect your heart, where our soul lives, where we feel so much of our emotion. A boundary is set by you as a way to protect yourself from the outer world. A boundary is not set to protect yourself from you, but from an outer thing, a person, a situation, a place, an event. Boundaries are ways to protect yourself. One of the questions that I am asked so often on my Instagram channel is, how do you set a boundary? And once it's set, then what? What do you do? So my advice and how I set the boundaries is I go inside. I meditate on situations, on things, on people. So if something happens and I didn't feel good about what happened, I will go internally, I will meditate, and I will process that situation that happened. And I will allow my body and my mind to tell me what it feels about what happened. I don't like to jump to conclusions. I don't like to say, oh, you're bad, that situation's bad. I like to go inward for my boundaries. I like to go inward for my feelings to see how I'm truly feeling. So let's say a situation happened where in this situation I felt kind of off. I felt, oh, I'm not comfortable here. I will then later go into meditation and recall this situation in my mind. Was I happy? Was I sad? Did somebody say something that just hurt my feelings? Was it something that offended me? I think about all of these internally and process that. So then I would set a boundary of, okay, I don't want to be in this situation ever again. Let's say I was out with a group of friends and some of them started arguing and fighting. I don't like to be around people that fight, people that argue. That's not my vibe. That's not who I am. I myself, I don't like to argue and fight. So let's say I was in a situation with people arguing and fighting. I would come back. I would go internally, sit in my feelings about how I felt about that situation and evaluate it. And then my mind and my heart, while in that meditation, would set that boundary of, I don't like being around people who fight, so I'm not going to allow myself to be in that situation. So that's how you set the boundary. I think that you should first go into meditation and think and process it. I don't think that it should just be a quick, oh, I don't like this. I don't like you fighting. I think you should go internally. Why don't you like the fighting? How does it make you feel? What does it do to your body? How do you react when this situation comes up? Go internal and process things internally to set up a boundary. Another question I'm often asked is, what do I do when I have a boundary? I've stated this boundary to a person, a lover, a friend, a coworker, and they break this boundary. My response to that is, when they break the boundary initially the first time, they're used to the old you. They're used to how you acted before. So it might take them a moment to get used to it. Now, I think that they should be respecting your boundaries and remembering them. But if we give the benefit of the doubt for just a moment, they're processing you how you used to be, how they've always been with you, how they've always vibed with you, reacted around you. So once or twice as a slip up, I can understand that, but you would immediately say, hey, I told you that I don't appreciate this anymore. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be talked to this way anymore. You have to use your voice, okay? When you're setting a boundary, you are protecting yourself. You are giving yourself love because you are creating that bubble of protection around you. What good is setting a boundary if you're not going to speak out when somebody breaks that boundary? And I have people come back to me and say, well, it's not that easy. I am 100% on your side that it is not that easy. But you are going to come to find that not that easy means people are just going to keep walking all over you. And you don't want that, because where's that protection for you? They get to do whatever they want. They get to be happy and fulfilled doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want. But what about you? I know it's hard. I used to always be that person that, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just going to let them do whatever they want. I'm going to keep quiet. And that caused me to shove so much down and down and down until finally one day I blew up and I'm like, I cannot be like this anymore. So start small. Say, I set this boundary. I would really appreciate if you could respect this. Now, my opinion is, to the same people that ask me these questions, I'm going to give it to you. If you are with somebody or around somebody that is constantly breaking that boundary, where you have to constantly say, we talked about this, I don't want to be involved in this, I don't want this around me, I don't want to be talked to this way, I don't want to be presented this way, and they keep doing it, you have to get yourself out of that situation. And again, they say to me, it's not that easy, which I 100% agree with. It's not that easy. For example, if you're at work, you can't just say, oh, screw this job, I'm leaving. You have a job to do, you have bills to pay, so it's not that easy, but you can take steps. Try not to be around that person at work. Try not to attend events at work if you can where that person is involved. You can take little steps here and there to keep a boundary and protect yourself. But as best you can, if it's with a friend, if it's with a lover, if it's with a family member, I'm not taking this anymore. Stand up for yourself. Boundaries are there to protect you. Remember that. If you take anything from this video, boundaries are there for you to protect you, your heart, your soul, your mind, your body. Do you want to be at the end of the day lying in bed, upset and sad and hurting because other people did things that you didn't appreciate or like? Or do you want to go to bed feeling happy and safe and protected and proud of yourself? How do you think they're going to bed? How do you think they're thinking when they go to bed, that they get to walk around and just do and say whatever they want to people with no consequence? Okay, so think about yourself. I know it's hard to set that boundary. I know it's hard to stick to it. I know it's hard to voice that and let that out. I know it's hard, but start little, try little. So as always, you guys, I like to share my side of things, my experience with things. I like to share on this channel what has happened to me so that you guys can see real life experiences, real life things that come from the videos that I make, the topics that I talk about. So I do have a boundary story to tell you guys. Okay, so I have a friend, and she said that it was okay for me to talk about this on my channel, just to not give her name. I have a friend who was always talking to me about her spouse, her boyfriend, and she wanted to know what she could do about things that were happening in her relationship. And she was always saying, okay, this happened, what do I do? And I would say, you have to set a boundary. How is he going to know what's affecting you if you don't tell him? Okay, so there's two sides to this boundary thing. Your partner could be very accepting about your boundaries and what you need, but they don't know because you're not telling them. So they're doing things that are hurting you because you're not protecting yourself by speaking to your partner, by telling your partner what you need. So I would say to her, well, you need to set a boundary. You've got to tell him how you feel, and how you feel is part of this boundary within you that you need to protect yourself. So she didn't want to tell him. She was so afraid to hurt his feelings, and she was always so sad, and it would always eat her up inside because she was swallowing down things that were happening, swallowing them down, and she would have digestive issues. She had insomnia, hard to sleep. Now, her relationship, she has a beautiful, beautiful boyfriend. He is the kindest, sweetest person, but he was doing these little things. He would go out to a club with his friends and not text her or call her, and show up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and it would upset her, but she wouldn't say anything to him. And it wasn't the fact that he was out until 3 or 4, it's that she was worried about him, didn't know where he was, and that he would just come home at 4 in the morning, and she was so worried, but she would just say, oh, hope you had fun, and swallow it down. Just little things like that, nothing extreme. And so finally I said to her, look, I cannot keep talking to you about this, because you're not going to speak your truth. You're not going to speak your boundary. You're not going to speak your feelings. And so this is not doing you any good or me any good. And so a month or so went by, and I remember she called me and she says, oh my God, Mel, I sat him down and I finally spilled it all out, and I slept better than I had in months. She says she didn't wake up at all that night. Her boyfriend was so receptive, so receiving, so understanding of these little things that were just eating her inside because she just wouldn't express them. And something else that I want to say that I said to her too is that these little things, they start off like this little seed, but then they grow and grow and grow and grow. So him being out at the club until 4 in the morning, there's no big deal there. There's trust between the two of them. But because it started as a little seed where she was upset that he didn't text her to say he was okay, it got bigger, and the next time bigger, and the next time bigger. Not next time as in going to the club, but the next time he was running late getting home from work. The next time he was stuck in traffic and forgot to text her. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So if that's a piece of advice I could give you as well, is to set the boundary as soon as it happens. That way it's not getting bigger and bigger and eating you alive all the time. Okay, so I know that's just one little story, and it's a story about how accepting someone can be. And so I do know that there are situations and there are people out there that are not going to be accepting all the time. They might even be angry and mad at you for setting your boundary. But I do want to say that you're never going to know how another person's going to react if you don't say it. And if it's a boundary that's protecting you, you need to say it. You need to not worry if they're going to take it badly or take it wrong, because you need to protect yourself and your heart. So again, I know it's not always easy to set those boundaries. I know not everybody's going to be as receptive as my friend's boyfriend and accepting of what you have to say and how you feel, especially if you've been a certain way for most of your life, and then all of a sudden now you want to set a boundary, now you want to change. I know that that is hard for other people to accept, and they might not be as accepting as my friend's boyfriend was. But my advice to you is to just set that boundary, protect yourself, work on your inner peace, your inner happiness. You will attract people to you that respect you, that respect that boundary, that respect your protection of yourself. As always, I hope you all found great value in this video. I would love to hear your comments about it down below, how you set boundaries. What boundaries do you have that keeps yourself protected? Share those in the comments down below. And as always, my lovely friends, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.